Welcome back, True Seeker. It is a Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. And on this 11th day of the year, major chaos, as they're putting it, in the world of air travel. The FAA reportedly having a glitch at about 9 a.m. on the 11th day of the year. And again, it is 1/11, reminding that 9/11, September 11th, was on the day, leaving 111 days left in the year. Remember, there were 19 hijackers on 9/11. Today's date numerology is 19, which in Gematria represents chaos. Again, the code is order out of chaos. But here we are in the society that continues to think that there's no conspiracies, there's no foul play from the federal government. They're here looking out for us. They're not into numerology, even though the majority of the founders were Masons and etched on their temple is all is number. But again, I mean, just a day like this, the government taking out its big dick and just smacking people in the head. 9 a.m. glitch on the 11th. And then the one story that brought the nation back together, Damar Hamlin, drama Hamlet, he's released from the hospital for the second time this week. First, he was released on the 9th after 9 minutes of CPR in Joe Burrow's hometown, number 9. But now he's released on the 11th, 9 days after the initial staged ritual on January 2nd. And again, look at how it all works. Just like how after 9/11, you had the Patriot Act and the emergence of the New England Patriots. And of course, again, in 1968, when World Trade Center construction began and 911 was made the national emergency dialing code, the only Super Bowl winning season for the Jets, the New York Jets, also happened that year, back in 68. And again, don't be the next person to go, but the Super Bowl was in 69. Yeah, it was still the 68 season. And again, I mean, America, like nothing has changed. A society of people asleep at the wheel. They only care about their sports games, can't see through the obvious rituals to manipulate their life. And for all the people who say, but why would they do this to us? Again, it's all about agenda. Agenda 2030 is a big one right now. That's why they don't want you to have propane stoves. They want to get everything all electric so they can control you through one energy. And then they also don't want you to travel. So, again, if you're watching today's stories, they're talking about how in the last year, how the average flight has been delayed 50 minutes in America at least. Again, all these planned inconveniences, and they do have a psychological toll. Right now, I'm debating on flying down to Los Angeles on January 26th. And, again, like I said, if I don't go down for the Kobe anniversary to educate, I will go down later this year on Kobe Bryant Day. And that might be the more appropriate day since it's about Kobe. And like I said, sweet lady, her mom is not doing well right now, and we could get the more fateful news any day. I don't want to be down in LA, and it just happened to be the day that sweet lady's mom kicks the bucket, and then she's here alone. But anyway, this right here is also making me think like, yeah, maybe I don't want to fly. Maybe I just want to wait till August when I can drive down there. Again, LA is not too long of a drive from me. I'm up in Washington State. I can drive there in a day. But not this time of year, unless I get lucky, because the mountain pass can be a big problem this time of year. Going through Grants Pass in southern Oregon, northern California, for anyone who's driven out on the West Coast. But yeah, again, all of these things are contributing to what they want. They want people to travel a lot less. That's part of Agenda 2030. They want people to stay home, not consume anything that contributes to greenhouse gases, as they say. This is all part of their big agenda, and all of these little stories play their part. And again, that's why Meta is supposed to roll out in 2030, so that you can just live in virtual reality. And just imagine what it's going to look like in the future. Instead of traveling, remember what happened this year for the holidays? All the crazy weather right at the holiday time. So people's flights got canceled so they couldn't travel. I was planning to drive back home to Portland. Couldn't, because it was freezing rain all over. I mean, how often do we get freezing rain? Well, just for the whole week of Christmas we got it, even though it's super rare. And again, all of this is by design. It's so by the time 2030 and Meta rolls around, you can just live in virtual reality. You know, you can all eat around the virtual dinner table. You know, Amazon will bring your dinner right to your door. Anyway, but yeah, 9 a.m. they got to tell you, at 9 a.m., a big glitch on the 11th. And again, headline, FAA system outage causes travel chaos across the U.S. Again, the reason we knew 2020 would be a bad year is because it was 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers, and that's why I was talking about it for the better part of the decade before it came. These people don't miss. It's all about numerology and gematria. You know? I just get tired of all the trolls hanging around. Gematria is so stupid. Gematria is so stupid. Every day it explains everything that's going on. Hey, George Santos is a top headline today. Why did they bring back this? And again, I told you why they're doing this story in 2023. It's a tribute to the Synagogue of Satan, which I'll get to. But again, he's in Nassau County. Look how perfect it is. From his July 22nd birthday to today is 173 days later. What's Nassau County equal? Oh, it equals 173. He's in New York. What's today? 111. New York 111. Like how 9/11, September 11th, the day leaving 111 days left in the year. Like Damar Hamlin, 9 days after the injury on the 11th on 111, the New York football player. Again, every day, structured news, rigged and scripted. And again, I don't know how there can still be morons coming to me and being like, gematria is so stupid. I've literally been here every day for a decade showing you how every day, every news story is perfectly scripted and how often they are paying tribute to the past, like things like 9/11. You know? All right, other familiar patterns. The 6-year-old who shot the teacher on the 6th while they were doing math when math equals 66. Now they've finally given the teacher a name. Her name is Abby Werner. Abby Werner. How many times have I talked about this pattern right here? The 139 mass shooting pattern? How many times have I talked about this? Like 1,000? Gun control 139, Abby Werner 139, Freemasonry 139. The last major gun control legislation on 13/9, 2 years of the day of Tupac dying from gun violence. On the Above the Rim soundtrack, which Tupac starred in, the song Regulators, how all that stuff was synced up. Again, I've covered all this a million times in the past. But anyway, gun control, Abby Werner, Freemasonry, all the same. All the same. And again, 4-base ciphers, Abby Werner, Freemasonry, the exact same in all 4. The Fraternal Order of Police, these stories coming from the police. According to police, a 6-year-old shot a teacher on the 6th. I mean, I don't know where my critics have any argument. It's just like you just follow the line. A nation founded by people who were part of a secret society that studies Kabbalah. This comes from Kabbalah. Every day, every news story, every federal government action, easily seen through by understanding this knowledge. It's just so frustrating, you know. It's just like in 2013, friends and family all thought I lost my mind, and none of these people can come back and admit that they were wrong. That's what's wrong with this nation. So hard-headed. Everything they learned as little itty-bitty children is like their whole understanding of reality. And again, it should be obvious it's been a number game the whole time. 13 colonies, 13 stripes, 13 years of school, K to 12. I mean, literally, just talking about the same stuff over and over. Remember when the Jew, Sam Bankman-Fried, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on 11/11? And by the way, in Gematria, Jew equals 11. Well, now they got another good story in the FTX saga. Tom Brady, 45 years old, lost $45 million in the FTX scandal. I'm sure he did. They've got to mention that he's 45, and then 2 paragraphs below, Brady's stake was worth roughly $45 million. Come on. For the record, the city that equals 45 is Miami. The basketball arena is FTX Arena in Miami. And of course, Brady's down in Florida right now. Not too far from Miami. But yeah, it's just... Again, I looked at this stuff for years. For years, I looked at this without understanding gematria, and I was like, what's with the number rituals in the news every day? I mean, everybody should be asking that question because it's so obvious. More people would be asking that question if there was a higher average IQ in America. The problem is the average IQ is so low, probably from all the chemicals and all the other dumbing down, watching screens. Could I just think about how fortunate I was growing up? My mom kept me away from the chemicals. She never let me get fluoride. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, one of the only cities that doesn't have fluoride in its drinking water. I think that's changed in recent times, though. Hardly watched any screens, you know. I think that's what made all the difference for me. I think had everybody gotten my upbringing, we'd all be in the same boat. But that's not what it was for most people. I also missed a lot of my shots. Blessings. So anyhow, it's more news by the numbers. Apparently last night, I mean, and just like, are you guys noticing that the media is defending or like attacking the host of the Golden Globes last night who made a joke about Scientology? Remember, Scientology equals Jesuit order. And again, the Jesuits are pretty much behind all the Abrahamic religions or, well, you know, the Jesuits and the Abrahamic religions pretty much go hand in hand. But anyhow, the end of my video title also says Jesus people. And the reason I put that in the video title today, by the way, for all the Jesus people out there, if you didn't know this, the Christian Coptic New Year does begin on 9/11. Some people contend that's Jesus' real birthday. 9/11 was carried out by the Society of Jesus, who run things like Israel. That's why the dancing Israelis were in New Jersey that day, when New Jersey equals 119, and so does Star of David, and so does Orthodox. If you don't know about that story, 60 Minutes used to talk about it. But anyhow, you know, I see another headline there that's probably part of this big script Hollywood. You see how it says Naomi Osaka announces she's pregnant today? Remember that Samuel L. Jackson, he was in that movie series with Bruce Willis, Unbreakable. And I forget what sequel it is in the movie. I forget even how many movies they made. There's at least 2, maybe there's 3, but in one of the sequels, they're going to open something called the Osaka Tower, and it looks like the World Trade Centers, and Samuel L. Jackson's got the plan to blow it up and bring it all down. Hold on. Bear with me a second before I get to the Jesus people. I got to pull up this Unbreakable Osaka Tower thing real quick. Glass is the name of that film. Released on January 18th, 2019. And the film is set in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's, again, 118. How we predicted the Phillies would be in the 118th World Series, which they were. It was a date with 58 numerology, the date they released it. The Gematria Glass is 58, the name of the film. Just talking about these numbers with the teacher and the Fraternal Order of Police. By the way, the word fraternal is also 58, like Secret Society and Freemasonry and Rosicrucian and Solomon's Temple, where all the secrets are, and Herod's Temple and Tracing Board, which you got to do for Masonry. But anyway, in the film, the Osaka Tower in the film is going to open on December 7th. Again, that's Pearl Harbor Day in history. Pearl Harbor blamed on the Japanese, Osaka, Japan. Now Naomi Osaka's pregnant on the day of this huge tribute to 9/11. Again, on 1/11, when New York's 1/11, and September 11th left 111 days left in the year. And again, the FAA's got the big glitch at 9 a.m. on the 11th, and Damar Hamlin in New York, he's out of the hospital for the second time, first on the 9th and on the 11th, now 9 days after the initial big ritual that brought the nation together. That's part of what annoys me too. That video on Damar Hamlin that I did got the most views since the video I did on January 6th, where I predicted everything accurately about January 6th before it happened. That's why Google deleted my video for medical misinformation on the day of January 6th. But it's just like, God, I've done so many important videos between there and then, and what finally got people to tune in was Damar Hamlin? God. Oh, man, we're fucked. But anyway, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, like buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell on 9/11. So again, I'm thinking Naomi Osaka coming out today is pregnant is part of this ritual. Okay, now back to the Jesus people. So I had somebody invite me to do their show at the beginning of the week, and they wanted me to do a live stream with them this coming Thursday at about noon. And after we set up the live stream, they have an audience of around 100,000 people. After we did set up the date for the live stream, he called me back later that day, and he's like, hey, I noticed you have multiple YouTube channels set up. And he goes, I'm trying to do the same thing. Could you help me out with how to establish another channel? And he's an older guy, and he's had his channel for a while. It's grown to 100,000 subs. And he said his son set up his first channel for him, but for whatever reason, he's not communicating with his son as much now. So I was going through how to set up a channel and helping him out. And I was actually looking forward to doing the interview because he has a good-sized audience, and I thought they should probably hear about, what I talk about on this channel. And I was aware that the guy was kind of into politics. He's kind of thinking the Republican Party, and Trump's the better guy, and Biden's the bad guy like a lot of people. And I saw he's real big in the Jesus thing. And again, those people, I could also see in the things he's saying, he's mostly on the right path, but he's taken by some of the things that are part of the controlling matrix. So anyway, I noticed that yesterday he put out a video about the dead woman, Diamond and Silk, the woman who died from that duo. And he's like, man, we lost one of the good ones, one of the good Trump people, and, now she's with Jesus. And then I'm sure he saw my video on my channel showing how she died 666 days before the election, and how MAGA is the highest degree of the satanic church. And again, all the deaths with Trump in 45 and her being the latest, dead 45 days after her birthday. So anyway, last night he sends me a text message and he goes, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cancel the interview because I'm worried that you're going to take away some of my my Jesus-believing audience from what I'm trying to achieve on my channel. It's like, oh my God. Okay. You guys, this is why I rant against religion. It is part of the problem. It is part of the problem. And I'm trying not to use the words God. I prefer the word creator. Remember, God equals Satan in Gematria. Jesus equals Lucifer. And again, Jesus is not his true name, if it is even true. But again, this is what religion is. This is why we're not making any progress as a society. This guy wants to stay over there and keep his people in his lane, like, oh, we got to support Trump now because he's better than Biden, and we got to keep believing in Jesus. And again, this was a good lady right here, and now she's with Jesus. He sees my video. Oh my God. God, I didn't know all this 666 stuff about Trump. I didn't realize his wife died 45 years after the marriage. I didn't realize his brother died on the Jesuit order's birthday. Hold on. I'm just going to stay in my lane. We're going to keep talking about Jesus and Trump over here. We wouldn't want to ruffle any feathers. My channel is monetized. I'm getting pretty good views. Again, you guys, this is why we're not making any progress as a society. And I get tired of people coming over here and ranting about how I'm the Antichrist. And a million people said the same thing. Zach's taking people away from Jesus. Again, for all you people, you wouldn't recognize Jesus if he came to earth. You would think Jesus was the villain. Trust me. Again, that's why, how many Christians are there in this nation that are all sucked up into Trump, Mr. Mega, which is the highest degree of the satanic church? And again, I want to remind people about things. When Bush came into power just before 9/11, since we're talking about 9/11, let's talk about a few things. GOP logo change, stars, satanic. Let me see if this still pulls it up. When Bush became president, or when he started running for president in 2000, the GOP shifted their logo. Yeah, here it is right here. So from 1874 to 2000, you just had upward pointing stars, okay? Upward pointing stars. Then in 2000, well, this is weird. This is saying 94 to 2015 was the shift, but the shift was in 2000. I remember when people were pointing this out in 2000. So 2000, when they make the shift, they make the star point downwards, okay? A downwards pointing five-sided star is a satanic symbol, okay? So the GOP shifts their symbol to become satanic at the time of Bush, just before 9/11, right? And again, how many people in this country think the Republican Party is the party of God, the party of Jesus, the party of Christianity? And again, I'm telling you, in Gematria, God equals Satan. That's why Marilyn Manson put out that song, "When you say God, I say 10." And he spelled it S-A-Y with the number 10, because in Gematria, God and Satan both equal 10 and 55, and of course 55 is the 10th triangular number. And then again, Jesus and Lucifer have the same Gematria, like occult, like Masonic. So, how many people in this society think that they're righteous and holy and better because of their spiritual beliefs, when really they're part of the evil agenda? How many people listen to what they said on TV for the last week and some days about pray for Damar Hamlin while they're doing their satanic Baphomet poses in the locker room? You know, while they're doing it right on the field in the kneeling ritual, paying tribute to Hiram Abiff. But they prayed for Damar Hamlin. What really happened? Like, if you're directing your prayer to Jesus or God, and you're not even realizing what you're doing because you're too naive about the language and what these occultists have done to us, how do you know your whole life that you haven't been praying to something evil by praying to Jesus and God? I think everyone needs to seriously consider this. We did not create this language. We didn't create any of this stuff. We're living under it. It was given to us from birth, and we were told to believe, the word with lie in the middle. And things should be becoming more clear. This whole thing with Damar Hamlin is the biggest mockery of society, but they've been asking you to pray all week. And then since he's come out of the hospital, you've heard all the people on TV. This shows the power of prayer. Look at the power of prayer. Thank you for everyone who prayed for Damar Hamlin. This is a miracle. This is a mockery. And again, it shows that there probably is power in prayer, but if everybody's continually praying to the wrong things because they've been tricked into praying to the wrong things, maybe it's the reason evil continues to flourish and take greater hold over this world. So that's my message to Jesus people. And again, it's just like that old man, I took time out of my day to help him set up another channel, and then he decides, that I might pull his audience away from Jesus. Oh, God, man. It's just, it's why we are where we are. So, yeah, Jupiter Zeus, worshipped on Thursday. Yours truly was born on a Thursday. Well, most of the world might not live in Jesus' land, but then they live in some other false fairy tale land, right? They got their false religious beliefs that were given to them by their indoctrinators. Yeah, it's not just the Christians. I mean, all the Abrahamic religions. It's just like, what if everybody's belief became like, you know what? This world should be a lot better than it is. And I'm ruled over by this government that's oppressive, because it's pretty much the same condition all over the world. I'm ruled over by an oppressive, greedy government that always needs more money and more control over my life. And now my new belief is about destroying this evil that's right in front of my face. What if that became everyone's belief? Don't you think almost overnight we'd probably conquer what's ruling over us? Then people go, well, what about next? What about helping man overcome their flaws? Well, again, those are great what ifs, but I don't see any of those things being overcome. It's like we're going to have to knock over the thing that's keeping us in the condition we are before we work on solving the next problem, is essentially what I'm saying. All right, I'm looking at the chat right now. Here, before I come back to the chat, I also just want to make this point, in case you haven't heard me say this, about George Santos. Remember in Gematria, the synagogue of Satan equals 223, and so does Philadelphia. And again, a letter is written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. And here, I'll just put it up on the screen so we can just read right from the Bible. Revelation 3:7 through 9. Here we go. To the church in Philadelphia. Again, the synagogue of Satan equals 223. So does Philadelphia. Think about this year, 2023. It's a lot like 223. Big story at the start of the year. And the story did start at the end of 22. There's 22 chapters in Revelation. So that's what I was saying. The story would continue into 2023 by the numbers. But again, to the church in Philadelphia. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, that you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars, I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. And of course, if you read the King James Version, it gets a little bit more Shakespeare, gets a little more Damar Hamlin, but and then the other big crack up about the Christians, the real version's the King James Version. Oh, I'm sure the version named after the king is probably totally authentic. I'm sure they spoke just like Shakespeare in the times of Jesus. Okay. But again, that's who George Santos is, right? The guy who claimed to be Jewish but is not. Said he's Catholic, reminding of the Jesuits. The Jesuits who are Catholic and Jewish. So again, you guys, like I've been saying forever, every day, biblical rituals in the news, if you know the numbers, always using Revelation like it's the playbook. Every day, news by the numbers. And just the same stuff, day after day. And you know what's annoying is just like watching the news. I was watching the news and they were interviewing people in the air. I mean, the news is just such trash. It's like, why do people go to the news for information? I was watching both CNN and Fox. They're doing the same thing. They're interviewing people in the airport. People are like, I don't know what to think about this. It's just crazy. And then they cut to another soundbite, and this guy's got his headphones on. He's like, yeah, bro, man, I mean, this is a big delay for me. What? It's nationwide? That's even crazier, bro. It's like, oh, this is helpful information. Let's go to the next person who doesn't have a clue about anything. It's just like you think everybody would catch on. The 11th and a glitch at 9 a.m. God. Oh, man. All right, here, we'll stay on for a little bit more. We'll take a few calls. If you guys have any other good observations. By the way, shout out to Edward. Edward chipped in $2. He said, check out Ashari Hughes. She died playing football. Ashari Hughes, a woman died playing football? International football? Ashari Hughes. Flag football. Desert Oasis student. Where's that at? In Arizona? When did this news break? If you haven't heard the Ashari Hughes story, buckle up because it is heartbreaking. This goes on the back of the Damar Hamlin thing. Hughes was a 16-year-old girl from Las Vegas. Who tragically collapsed and died following her high school flag football game back on January 5th. That alone would be something folks would talk about. Hold on, before I go any further with this story, I forgot another thing in the headlines today. Hold on. Today, FDA vaccine advisors disappointed and angry that early data about new COVID-19 booster shot wasn't presented for review last year. And you know what the data shows? It shows that the COVID booster's totally ineffective against stopping the latest strains of COVID-19. But had this been known, it might have saved $5 billion in taxpayer dollars. Imagine how many communities could be completely revamped, saved from $5 billion, and how many people in that community's lives could be saved. Go to poor communities in America where there's pretty much no opportunity. Imagine a $5 billion renovation. Sorry, we spent it on worthless vaccines, but hey, the good news is all the Pfizer shareholders benefited. And of course, in Gematria, vaccination equals 111. So how about this story for 111? Another FU. All right, now back to Ashari Hughes, who collapsed and died at age 16. Hughes was a 16-year-old girl from Las Vegas who tragically collapsed and died following her high school flag football game back on January 5th. That alone would be something folks would talk about because it's just terrible to see such a bright blank. The photos of her online show her big smile and the personality just seems to come through the screen. Young woman lose her life. Who wrote this article? Is this like the worst written article in the history of written articles? What am I reading from? For the record, January 5th had 13 date numerology. Just makes you think of the 13 stripes on the flag. But in 2023, the COVID vaccine conspiracy theorists have been out in full force too. This week, however, the Clark County Coroner's Office, Hughes played for Desert Oasis High School in Las Vegas, has released the reason for her death. According to the office, Hughes died from anomalous origin of the right coronary artery from left coronary sinus of Valsalva. Okay, well, now we're speaking new languages. The office said that her manner of death was natural. Hold on. I got to pull something up, you guys. Because all of a sudden, a lot of people are having heart problems. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I brought this up the other week. Check this out. In Latin, cor ulna translates to heart attack. Interesting. Okay. The office said that her manner of death was natural. It's becoming awfully more normal for these natural deaths at such young ages. It's weird. When I was growing up, there was no such thing as peanut allergies or people dropping dead from heart attacks as teenagers and early 20s. These things were just unheard of. But now you're just a conspiracy theorist if you think it's abnormal. Okay. It's funny how that label just gets applied to everything that should be questioned. Oh, questioning that sounds like a conspiracy theorist. According to a Fox 5 Vegas report, the National Library of Medicine describes Hughes' cause of death as a rare congenital abnormality that represents less than 3% of coronary anomalies. Fox 5 News said the journal says the condition can cause such things as myocardial ischemia, also known as reduced blood flow, arrhythmias, or sudden cardiac death. So again, there's just this kind of reporting here. It's like it has a paragraph about the conspiracy theorists blaming the jab, but then they don't go on to say if she was vaccinated. Like, you know what movie we were watching last night that made me laugh? I was like, that line is so perfect. It's early in the movie. You remember when, by the way, they're both great actors. Ethan Hawke sits down with Jesuit-educated Denzel Washington at the table in Training Day. And Ethan Hawke's disrupting Denzel, who just wants to read the paper. And then Denzel gets annoyed. And he explains, like, listen, 90% of what's in here is total bullshit, but it entertains me. So you entertain me. Truth in plain sight, because that's all it is every day. And 90% bullshit, I think, is a conservative estimate. It's more like 99. Hughes' family also said that she had a known heart issue, but had been cleared by doctors to play football. The reportedly intended for the... who the fuck wrote this article? Okay, they take how many typos are in this article? Is this a real publication? What is Penn Live? Patriot News? God. Find somebody who speaks English as a first language. Here, let me find another article. It's like, God. Penn Live. Why is that? This is the first thing Google promotes on this? An article with 10 typos that takes a shot at conspiracy theorists and then doesn't even mention if she's vaccinated? Desert Oasis students' cause of death released. Okay, let's try another one. The Clark County Coroner's Office on Monday released the cause of death for the Desert Oasis high school student who collapsed last week during a flag football game. Sophomore Ashari Hughes, 16 of Las Vegas, died on Thursday night at St. Rose Dominican Hospital. All right, Thursday. The other article said January 5th. Tomorrow's going to be the 12th. So yeah, would have been January 5th. Okay. Died on Thursday night at St. Rose Dominican Hospital, Siena campus after a game against Valley High School. The coroner ruled Hughes died from a congenital heart condition, officially called anomalous origin of right coronary artery from left coronary sinus of Valsalva. Her death was ruled natural. Okay. The National Library of Medicine said patients with the condition can suffer sudden cardiac death. Did they know that she had this condition before it happened? A witness described on social media the use of an external defibrillator and chest compressions on Hughes before she was taken to the hospital. And again, this becomes a big story right after what happens with Damar Hamlin in the ritual. Her parent described the girl as a passionate, loving, and determined teen who considered flag football the love of her life, though she had a heart defect. She had a heart defect. And Shorty Hughes said his daughter was cleared by doctors to play football. Her parents stipulated that the girl had to get off the field if she felt her chest getting tight, Hughes said in a message to the Review Journal. I mean, it is true. Some people do have heart defects. My buddy I grew up with, Adam, he had a heart defect. He's still living. He's the same age as me. Him and I played a lot of sports growing up. Anyway, vigils are scheduled for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to honor the girl. I don't know. There's way too many stories like this, and it's like they're trying to make it seem like these kind of things are normal. Just everything just be rare for women. Now a lot of women are having heart attacks, young people. And you just see how it goes. It's just like a year ago at this time was when all the headlines were running out. Sudden adult death syndrome. Okay. All of a sudden, there's 1 million vaccines children got to get. Then there's this new thing, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Oh, it couldn't be jabs. Possible for it to be jabs. Peanut allergies, they came out of nowhere. Possible for it to be jabs. It's like the only thing that's changing in the population is people are having to get way more jabs. And again, I mean, shouldn't it be obvious that that's, like, when they start censoring people talking about it, shouldn't that make it more obvious that that's probably what's going on? It's like, okay, now we got to censor people. Again, the first thing that Google censored across the board was conversations about jabs and autism. They had to go out and block all that information. And again, I used to manage a children's home for autistic children, and almost every parent had the same story, that their children were perfectly fine until they were around the age 2 or 3, and it was after getting, like the latest MMR shot, and then all of a sudden the child rapidly transformed, and they were no longer like responsive or talking. So many parents have the exact same story. It was 2012 when Google did this with all the censorship. But I mean, just like, who knows how many people? Tons of people across the world have the exact same story, but then the mainstream media, which dominates the mind control device, is always saying that there's no way it could be that. It's not that. Only conspiracy theorists think that. Give it another year, they'll probably be saying that the sudden rise in sudden adult death syndrome is from gas stoves, natural gas. Ooh, new scientific study says natural gas stoves responsible for the 8,000% increase in the deaths of young people from heart arrhythmia. I've been talking about that for a while, you guys, because it's been going on in Washington State, this fight to stop natural gas. Like this town that I moved to, they stopped the natural gas pipeline that they were building in this town before I even moved here. So there'll probably never be any natural gas pipeline that even comes through this part of town. And again, it's about control, Imagine that you live in a house where you have a natural gas water heater and furnace or heat pump, and the power grid goes down. Well, if you had natural gas, you'd be okay. It was powered by the natural gas line. But if everything's on electric, well, there goes your heating and your cooling, and also your water. So, I mean, in no world, like, it's like the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's like what our government's doing right now. They're like, we're going to take away these forms of energy and just make everything electric. Everything's electric. Cars, water heater, furnace, stove, everything is electric. And again, coming from the same government where it was 2013 when Janet Napolitano, as she stepped down from the head of the Department of Homeland Security, she said the next 9/11 is not a matter of if but when, and it's the power grid going down. So, what's that going to happen when they got everybody on electric and there's no recourse? Gas generators are outlawed. All you can have is a solar generator that'll last for about 30 minutes. Thank you, Truth Slay. Thanks to you, I can now afford a salsa break. Unfortunately, though, I can't have any eggs with them. They killed all the hens. Yeah, this thing about how 70% of hens have been wiped out from a new bird flu. It's like, okay, sure. I'm sure that was just a coincidence too. Just all these disruptions in society. Okay, hold on. Somebody else gave a super chat, but I can't see it for some reason. Thank you to the super chatters. Let me say thank you, and maybe we'll take a few phone calls in case anybody else has eyes on another headline. But that I'm missing. All right, shout out to True Slay who chipped in 10. Shout out to Steven Shields who chipped in $1. Shout out to Amy2 Crack Their Code who chipped in $5 and said, check out the cardinal death. I know he died. I could have covered that one too. He died 216 days after his birthday, 6 times 6 times 6. And he died 149 days before his upcoming birthday, the 35th prime, like Catholic, like Holy See. But she says, check out the cardinal death and the death of the last king of Greece on my blog. Both posts have 223 connections. Okay, let's go to Amy's blog, cracktheircode.org. And we got a supermodel dead at 56. All right, so she's got the 2 posts in a row. Yeah, this was in the news yesterday. He's dead 81 days from the anniversary of becoming a cardinal at age 81. And remember, Cardinals equals 81 like the football team, like the 49ers just became 8-1 at home, beating the Cardinals. His name, 322, of course. And again, it reminds that Skull and Bones is modeled after the Knights Templar who served the Pope historically. All right, yeah, and then she's got the 216. So, the biggest promoter of Jesus in the world, the most evil entity there is, the Catholic Church. On the 16th of December 1966, Pell was ordained as a priest by a cardinal. And she's saying that was 56 years and 25 days ago. Pope has the gematria 56 and 25 as well, in addition to Society of Jesus and Death. Pope's the word that equals 56 and 25. Cardinals serve the Pope. Yeah, great work. And she said, check out this post on the last king of Greece. Dead at 82, dead in his 83rd year of life, the 23rd prime. Okay, he's also got the 216 connection. And then again, you had the death of the woman in the news on that day, 666 days from the election. He's dead 223 days after his birthday. Of course he is. Okay. Span of 100 and... Oh, okay, he's dead. I see. He did the spans both ways. Yeah, great work, Amy. And again, you guys, Amy has a YouTube channel now. Amy2, all one word. Amy number 2, no space. So Amy2 together, then space, crack their code. I think. Amy, you might want to reshuffle your name with just like spaces between each, because again, YouTube's real tricky about things like that when they're trying to find your channel in the search. Or you just might want to make your name easier altogether to be found. Because, yeah, her name is Amy2, all one thing, space, and then all together, crack their code. Of course, you got to know how to spell the right kind of there, which about 1 in 10 Americans do, so that might be another trick in your name. You might want to rethink your YouTube channel name, to be perfectly honest. You might just want to do like crack space the space code. Here, let's see if that's a YouTube channel that already exists. Something like that. Yeah, when I search crack space the space code, nobody has that channel name. So that could be you. Crack the code with Amy. It's just better to make your name simple so people can find it. Somebody's about Sting. It's hard to find the death dates of Sting's parents. They both died in close proximity to each other back when he became a star. Murder by numbers ABC 123 equals 201. Huh? And the most simple cipher? Okay. Yeah, if you'd held on to 200,000 eggs, you could sell them for $1 a piece. Be rich. Yeah, it just reminds you guys, this is why I've been saying, like, we got to start growing our own food, having our own land, because it just shows you how fast they can manipulate things. I mean, as soon as tomorrow, they could have the grocery store cleared out, no power. You'd be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. That's the problem with allowing ourselves to be ruled over by psychopaths. Here, while we're at it, we got Amy's site up here. Let's check out the supermodel dead at 56. What do you know? Dead 73 days from her birthday, the good old sacrifice number. Sacrifice and ritual sacrifice, 73, or a span of 74, which is killing, of course. She became a big star in 83. That's why it's just like, man, we're showing the same stuff day after day after day. And people are still coming here like, I can't believe you're still doing this. Like, haven't you figured out that all this is bullshit yet? So it's like, all that's being confirmed for me each day is that the world's still fucking retarded, man. That's about all. Hard-headed and retarded and can't admit they're wrong. It's about the only thing being confirmed for me each day. Cuts thinks the agenda is to eventually get everything to wireless electrical energy. Could be. But for now, it seems obvious that they want everybody on the same old thing. So it's easier to flip the switch, put everybody in a position they don't want to be in. Amy's going to start doing some how to can videos. Very cool. Miss Mildred's also very good at that. Shout out to Miss Mildred if she's out there. Okay, here, let me see if there's any more headlines we need to cover today. If not, Might be time to get back to work. Biden not in favor of a gas stove ban. Oh, well, that's nice to hear. Okay. Out here in Washington, it's too little, too late. It's being cut off out here. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Hey, something I did notice that was interesting last night in the Training Day movie, if you guys remember that one with Denzel and Ethan Hawke. If you've seen that movie, you know how early in the film, Ethan Hawke saves the young girl who's getting raped by the homeless guys. And then at the end, Denzel pays what he doesn't realize, her cousins, to kill Ethan Hawke. And right when they're about to kill him, they realize that he has the wallet of the girl he saved, and they're like, "Hey, how did you get this?" And he says, "It was a girl I saved earlier today." He's like, "This is my cousin. Let me see if your story's true." And then they let him go because they find out it is true. But what I noticed about that scene is, again, if you go back and watch that movie, they take him in the bathroom, and they got like Virgin Mary and because they're Mexican gangbangers, so they got Virgin Mary all over and Jesus and the cross, but it's all over that room where the great storyline takes fold to save Ethan Hawke's life. But yeah, just again, people are always saying that Hollywood is mocking Jesus, but I've never agreed with all the people who say that. I always feel like Hollywood is really supportive of like the Jesus narrative. And just like even in that scene, it's like, it's not making Jesus look bad, it's making it seem like that's part of the miracle, right? Like Jesus is there on the shower curtain, and instead of him getting his head blown off with a shotgun, they realize, what do you got this pink wallet for? This is my cousin's wallet. But here's a story. Demi Lovato poster banned by advertising regulator for being offensive to Christians. So again, just all like essentially the fake YouTube channels that promote Trump and Christianity, and you don't ever see their face, like the total frauds of the world, like a call for an uprising. He's always saying, Hollywood is always demonizing and making fun of Christianity. It's like, where's it doing that? And put out a lot of Christmas movies each year. Anyway. Now this, like, if the authorities were like so against Christianity, they wouldn't be mass printing the Bibles and making sure they're in every dresser next to the bed in a hotel, and this headline also wouldn't exist. Let's see the story. Britain's advertising regulator has banned a poster promoting Demi Lovato's most recent album for being likely to cause serious offense to Christians. The Advertising Standards Authority launched an investigation into the poster, which was seen at multiple sites across London in August, after receiving complaints from 4 members of the public. The poster featured an image of the album cover under the headlines Holy FVCK, which is also the name of the album. The image showed Lovato sprawled across a large cushioned crucifix in a leather bondage-style outfit. Is the cross upside down? That's also a satanic symbol. Under the UK's code for non-broadcast advertising, ads must be prepared with a sense of responsibility and must not contain anything likely to cause serious or widespread offense. According to the report published by the ASA Wednesday, the complainants challenged whether the ad was likely to cause serious or widespread offense. While some also suggested it was irresponsibly placed where children could see it, the watchdog investigated and upheld both aspects of the complaints, finding that both the language and the imagery used were likely to cause serious offense. Hold on. I just want to see if we can find what this image looks like. Let's take a look here. Okay, so there it is. So the cross is not pointing downwards. It is looking awfully Jesuit. Red, white, and black. Dirty bed. Probably supposed to be symbolic of like the dungeons where the Catholic pedophiles keep their children at. This album already came out August 19th. Came out on a date with 33 numerology. The life lesson number for that day was 33. 8 plus 19 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2, 33. Fitting for a cross. Isus equals 19 on the 19th of August. Probably closer to the real Jesus' birthday. 231st day of the year, that's the 21st triangular number. Jesuit 21 like Bible. 134 days left in the year, like the Jesuits equals 134. Why? Okay. So this is news today. Did this news, all right, hold on. Did this news first break today? Because and all this is going to do is bring more record sales, right? So her album came out a while ago. Looks like the news did break on the 11th. Of course, Jesus equals 11 in the most pure cipher. All right, here, let's see why. Okay, I can understand why on the 11th day of the year, in tribute to Jesus, in light of everything being done by the code. But here, let's look at some other things. Let's look at from the album's release date to today. I think today's going to be 145 days later, isn't it? Right? Because it was a day leaving 134 days left in the year. So it's 145 days later. Catholic equals 145. 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament. If you count the span of days, it's 146 days. And Jesus Christ is 146. Remember, Aaron Rodgers became 146 and 74 on Christmas, and they call him Touchdown Jesus. Again, Jesus Christ is 146 and 74. Jesus alone is 11. So, again, and this is in London, right? Jesus is 74, like London, 74, like Cross is 74, like Messiah is 74, like Gospel is 74, like Parables is 74, like Occult 74, so on and so forth. Jesus speaks in riddles, just like the controllers of the world do, who gave us the new name and mass print into the book. All right. Holy FVCK is the name of the album. Oh, 33. What do you know? Released on the 33 date numerology. 33 and 39, like masonry, right? Like secrecy. Banned by the numbers. And just like I said at the beginning, I was like, this thing looks awfully Catholic Jesuit, only for the ritual to be so perfect. For the record, it was a date with a life lesson number of 33. It was also a date with 69 numerology, which is another Jesuit number. The Jesuit order 69. How about how this lines up with Demi Lovato herself? So it came out the day before her birthday. Her birthday is August 20th. It came out the day before her 30th birthday. Again, the biblical story of Jesus picks back up at age 30. That means today, so that means today's 144 days. Come on, man. Today's 144 days after her birthday or her 145th day of her age. Jesuit order 144 like Catholic. But now that I think about it, Dan Barrett did say it could be salsa, and salsa is red, and there is some red on the album cover, so maybe it's actually the salsa. Again, showing how day after day the Society of Jesus rules the world by the same old number code. Here's another example that we weren't even planning for. Thank you, Slick Nick. $2 is probably about the going rate for one chip. Appreciate that. Shout out to Carl Streiner. Hope you're feeling better. Nice call on the Lions. Carl Streiner said, hey, the big movie on Netflix that they're promoting right now is Something Blue. The tattoo's about the Lions. I'm going with the blue-wearing Lions. Well done, Carl Streiner. Sometimes it is just that simple. Just what are they promoting right now? What colors are in the consciousness? Carl Streiner sends a blue super chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, stay strong, Carl. The world needs you. All right, here, let me, it's 111 out here. How perfect. I look at the phone at 111 on 111. I love when things like that happen. My birth numerology, for the record, also has a nice little 111 in it. But, here, does anybody else have anything they want me to look at today? Let me open up the phone line. If anybody else has anything they want me to talk about, let me put the phone number right here where you can see it. 509-560-4982. We do have TFR tonight, so I will be streaming for another 3 hours later, but is there anything else you want me to cover before we wrap this one up? A green comet in the news, huh? A little more green. We'll see if the green stuff continues into 2023. Interesting observations, Trevor. Could we get a rematch of Super Bowl 23 and 23? It's possible. 2 seed and the 3 seed would make it right. 113 says, look at my book when you're done with the stream with a... Is that a cat face? I don't know what your book is. Look at my book when you're done with the stream. No idea what you're talking about because I don't know who you are or what your book is. 559?
Hey, Zach. There were headlines today about in the future for 6G, they want to use humans as antennas. I know that 6 is the number of a man, and man was created on the 6th day.
Sure.
So,
yeah, good point. Huh.
But yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
All right, appreciate that. I'll have to look into that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Later. Yeah, right. The Matrix says Air Force football player collapsed, was age 21. Damar Hamlin was on January 2nd, a date to be written 2/1. $419.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
This is LT. I called a couple nights ago. So that Old Dominion player that collapsed, I got a couple more things on that. So they were playing against Georgia Southern when it was 13 minutes, 13 seconds on the clock, which makes me think of Georgia winning the championship. And then 13, Bennett, number 13.
Okay.
One other thing. Oh, so that the kid that collapsed, he did an interview, and he has the same exact birthday as Damar Hamlin.
Wait, who had the same birthday?
The Old Dominion player that collapsed.
His birthday is really on March 24th?
Yeah, he did an interview yesterday.
Wow.
He said he has the same birthday. So what are the odds? And he's number 3, same as Damar.
Same as Chuck Hughes, who died all those years ago. Yeah, here's the article on it.
Yeah,
Ironically, both players had the same birthday. God. Yeah, it's in the headlines. Unbelievable.
And the local news for where Old Dominion is, I think it's in Norfolk, is Channel 13.
Huh. Yeah, what a joke.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, while you bring it up, I'm checking to see if... Yeah, it does. I all of a sudden I was like, doesn't the word claps equal 83? It does. They're both born on the 83rd day of the year, and they both collapsed. Claps is also the exact same as football in every cipher. And one of them is Old Dominion's established on March 13th, which can be written 13/3, and Claps is 133 when you run it in reverse. Okay.
I saw that too.
And you know what? Claps is also 43 like March is, the third month. And again, they're all born in March. March is 43 and 29 like Claps.
I think something relates, money or cash or something relates to 13.
Well, I mean, the dollar bill has about a gazillion 13s on it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I tell people this stuff, and they think I'm loony. They tell me to.
Well, it's not just you, man. It's all of us who see what's going. That's just what's so annoying, man. That's why, like, people get mad about the way I rant, but they can't relate because they haven't been as awake as I have for as long. You don't know what it's like to just be called a weirdo and a conspiracy theorist and a mentally ill person for like over 20 years for simply pointing out the obvious. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I don't know, man. But yeah, Friday the 13th is this week. I just thought of that too.
Okay, Friday the 13th, when you spell it out as words, if you write it out Friday the 13th, it equals 223, right? Kind of like how we're seeing a lot of 223 stuff in 2023. So I actually went back and looked at whose birthday is on June 4th, because it's 223 days. From June 4th last year to Friday the 13th is 223 days later. And I just noticed, like, Angelina Jolie turns 48, and so does Russell Brand, who's become, like, supposedly a voice of reason, but both of them are turning 48, and 223 is the 48th prime. I don't think either of them are going to die that day, but I'm going to keep an eye on Angelina Jolie and Russell Brand this year, and
Hamlin made the tackle on the 48-yard line.
Yeah, exactly. MNF is 48. Remember, 48 days before Daytona 500, and Denny Kensington was the hero, so.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the Bengals' next game, number 30 got an interception on that same yard line, on the 48-yard line. And then the Bengals did a celebration in the end zone where number 33 was standing, directing, there were like 10 other players that are sitting down. And number 33 is like telling, I don't know, orchestrating him or whatever. It's unreal.
It is unreal. But yeah, again, if they're going to pull out the rug on the economy in March, I suspect it would be around the Ides of March. Could even be on the Old Dominion anniversary date. They turned 93 that day. And here, let me brush up on Saturn and money real quick. Saturn and money. Let me do a little web search for that. Yeah, I know Saturn.
Something I was thinking is.
Go ahead.
March 24th is 322 days after the Georgia Guidestones collapsed on 7/6.
Yeah, of course, that was a huge ritual. 201 days after the Pope's birthday. Yeah, but again, I mean, for people who forget the way history works, it's like the world wars happened because there were major financial problems in certain pockets. So again, they pull us into a contrived financial problem. They pull us into another world war. Again, that's how history repeats itself. So it's not like the world is going to end, but we're just going through the same type of stuff, which is how they control and manage and shift the world. And as time goes on, they gain more and more control over the populace, and we're witnessing how it's being done right now, ritualistically by this code, and all along the way dropping these little clues and people just not seeing it. And then those of us who do get it, we're the weirdos.
We're loonies.
So, yeah. And the good news for us is that it had been 70 years ago, they'd be putting us in a straitjacket and giving us a lobotomy, but...
Right?
Yeah.
But, hey, man, we can have peace that we know. I mean, we know that what the truth is. I try to tell myself that. But it can be depressing when your whole family thinks you're nuts. And,
of course it can.
Mock you behind your back and all that. But, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I was clear with my points. I don't really call into anything very often, so appreciate everything you do, man. Keep it going.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, Zach.
All right. Yeah, have a good one.
Bye.
780.
Hey, Zach, I was wondering, I got the quick here. If you could, well, actually, first let me ask, does the number 21 have anything to do with gun confiscation or gun bans or anything?
Well, not off the top of my head, I can't think of anything with gun control in 21, but it's just a huge number of the Jesuits, and they're the ones that are pushing the agenda, so.
Okay, so I'd like you to just pay attention to, because you're not a Canadian, I am, but there's something really big going on in Canada right now.
Your leader's a Jesuit. Your leader's a Jesuit.
Huh?
The guy who runs your nation is a Jesuit.
Yeah, she did.
Go ahead.
I actually read his book, and and his dad could speak fluent Latin. He was a Jesuit too. He could walk into a church and speak fluent Latin.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's right now that what was that shooting in PEI that happened? They ended up passing this gun ban called Bill C-21, and it banned all the scary assault rifles, but then they amended it and they banned every single semi-auto. So they're planning to confiscate all the original banned guns October 30th, 2023. That's the amnesty day. They're already banned, but lots of people own them right now. So they're planning on confiscating them. They just started running a drill in PEI. It's not like in the mainstream news, but they started running a drill to confiscate them in the place where the shooting went.
Just to remind people about Canada, April 19th, 2020, the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuits, you had the guy in the Mountie outfitting car driving up Route 102, shooting a bunch of people, and again, that same old day in history.
He got himself a nice police car down at the old police car shop. So yeah, they passed it, and then they just amended it, and every single semi-auto is banned now from rifles, hunting rifles, all of them. So you can only get bolt after that. I don't know why they don't ban bolt action in shotguns too, because you can do so much damage with a bolt action rifle in a shotgun. But I'd just ask if you could pay attention to that and look into it, because it's coming up. It's going to be major, and I don't think people are going to be giving up their guns. So I imagine there'll be another mass shooting to reinforce the thing, and then I imagine that there'll be a real event or a fake event where somebody shoots down on the police when they come to take all their guns. So just keep your eye on that, and if you could look into Bill C-21 and the dates that they have, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care, man. Thanks. Hey, look at this thing about Old Dominion. Old Dominion University derives its name from one of Virginia's state nicknames, the Old Dominion, given to the state by King Charles II of England for remaining loyal to the crown during the English Civil War. Remember what we said about Damar Hamlin and the Queen City, and how Donovan Mitchell's 71 that night, how it was all synced up with the royal family and the larger rituals going on? And now the guy with the same birthday at Old Dominion's collapsing has the same birthday as Damar Hamlin, and both of them are born in March, like Old Dominion University, which is about to turn that magic number of 93. 727.
Hey, Zach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I had a pitch for Tom Brady for you. I wanted you to check out. There's a lot of 83s going around right now, obviously. And that previous caller had just mentioned the same birthday as Hamlin for the Old Dominion player, which is a couple more 83s, because that's the 83 8th birthday of the year. But I went back and looked at the Tampa Bay Bucks. They played the Cincinnati Bengals on December 18th. And in that game, the total points in that game, and in that game had 83 yards. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. They had the 83s there. And then obviously and the other thing is that was on the 18th, 1-8, on 1-8, the Bucks were one of the 8 teams that were 8-8. Then Brady threw one touchdown in the game in Georgia to number 8. And it was an 8-yard reception, and he snapped the ball with 8 seconds on the play clock, and that got him to 4 of 5, 45, for 38 yards in that game. So I thought that was interesting. And that also connects into Georgia, because that was the last game he played before the playoffs, where Georgia became the 8th team, obviously, to win back-to-back. That Georgia Stadium in Sanford is on the 83rd meridian. And obviously you can get to 8-3 in Super Bowls in 23, and 83 is the 23rd prime number. And he was born on 8-3, and then, as you know, the draft day thing, from the draft day to the Super Bowl is 83-38 days. I think there's a lot of 8s going around right now. Seems like that's the way they would do it, based on the history watching him decode these things. Seems like he's got a pretty good riddle.
Yeah, it's possible. And now I'm just thinking about also how the word claps fits in with 83 in football and all the rituals they've done with Brady and how it's been synced up with history and news. Him getting to 8-3 might be another indicator that bad things are coming in March. So.
And the other thing with that Bengals game is it's actually a span of 57 days. It was 56 days also if you don't include the extra day. The King Charles's coronation's on 5/6, and obviously 56 is a huge number to them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting as well. As they're going to crown him the best ever. And Corona's crown, coronavirus is 56. I mean, it's infinite, but I just wanted to throw those things out there to see what you thought of it.
Yeah, it's all very interesting. A great observation, so I'll keep an eye on it.
All right, well, have a good afternoon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care. In light of this Old Dominion and claps and potential dollar claps thing linking up with King Charles, remember, there's 3 independent city-states in the world. DC's one, which is like the military headquarters of the New World Order. London's one, which is where, again, the city-state in London's in the banking district of London. And then the other one's the Vatican. It's like the military empire, the fake money control system area, the fake sexuality, mind mass control area. I was revisiting what day the Bank of England's birthday is. But, yeah, that is something else about these two guys having the same birthday. March 24th, the 83rd day of the year, both clapsing. Old Dominion's birthday is 13/3. March also goes with claps. We'll see. All right, one more call, and then I got to wrap it up. 480?
Hey. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I just was looking up March 24th because that's Damar Hamlin's birthday, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, Queen Elizabeth I of England died on that day.
Yep.
And then it's like the Queen died at the start of the NFL season.
Yep.
Queen City, it's just a perfect circle, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and the Queen of England the first was born one day before the Queen of England the second died. Another coincidence. That was the same day they put in Truss, the 45-day prime minister, when bridge equals 45, and a truss goes with a bridge, and Operation London Bridge was the name of the operation when Queen Elizabeth died. I mean, it's just amazing. As I'm saying, it's just amazing that we have people in this community who are now saying, like, I don't think it's the Jesuits or the Catholic Church. I think it's just the way the universe is working. It's like, come on, man. You can't see that all this stuff's a mass manipulation.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then it's frustrating because a lot of the people, if you tell them something with Jesuits, they'll, revert to, like, their Christian roots and think you're attacking Christianity. And, they don't even want to consider that Gematria is in the Bible, which, in my opinion, there's certain passages in the Bible that, are direct links that Gematria it doesn't logically make sense unless you interpret it that way,
Indeed. Yeah. But good point about the first Elizabeth and all of this stuff being tied in with the royal family. So we'll see what happens.
God bless you, Zach. Thanks for everything you do, man.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, man.
All right, take care. There is somebody else who's been trying to phone in a bunch, and I have not answered their call. 913. I'll wait for you to call back in, 913. I've seen your number come up a lot. And then I'll wrap it up. And while I'm waiting for 913 to call back, I'll shout out to Cuts. Cuts said check out the link on his Twitter. Here, I'll put it in the chat right now. World Economic Forum, quantum computing governance principles. That kind of stuff starts to make my head hurt. Because I can't comprehend it. Slick Nick says they took the CPR out of celebration out of Madden today. And Carl Streener said it was those pale blue eyes and Christian Bale that gave him the final clue. 913.
Hey, Zach. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. Hey, I don't know if someone let you know or called in about Dan Calloway did a video today, and he gave you a shout out. It was about 11 minutes long, and he was kind of talking about the system, how the numbers play a part, and then he said, I'm going to be doing a video about Gematria with a brother named Zach. Then he kind of did a presentation about a dollar bill. It was a unique dollar bill, but it's a good video. Like I said, it's only about 11 minutes long, but I just wanted to call and let you know that because I did think he was about to say that when he started talking about numbers, but I wasn't sure, and then he said he was going to be doing a video with you, so just wanted to let you know. I appreciate your work.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been planning to do a video for a while, and he had some family illness come up, and it got put on the back burner, but I'm sure at some point it'll happen. So I appreciate the heads up. I'll check out his video. And for all the other people out there, if you're not familiar with Dane Calloway, he's got a pretty big audience. You probably heard his name before. So Dane Calloway on the screen. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, take care. Okay, if you guys want to check out Dane Calloway's channel. And, you know, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, don't do it with Dane, he's a shill. Again, everybody thinks everybody's a shill. I will go on anyone's platform who helps get out the word about this information. And Dane Calloway is one of the only people who has a platform who's brought up my name. So I gotta give the man a chance, you know. I'm pretty sure if you could survey YouTube and you could write, is Zach Hubbard a shill? The majority of people would write yes, because there's been a lot of people who've slandered my name and put out all kinds of misinformation. Shout out to RPM Trey Vietnam. RPM Trey Vietnam, no more super chats. I'm giving him the same message as Sarah Sutherland. I wake up this morning, I got a super chat from RPM Trey. I'm like, why? You've already given me too many, man. I appreciate it. If you guys don't know, RPM Trey Vietnam, also another guy to hit the sub button on. Again, he pounded pavement with us in Oklahoma City, and he definitely would have been there in New York if it was an open carry state. But if we want to pound pavement with RPM Trey, we got to be where open carry is a thing. And, you know, I mean, sadly, at the direction the nation's heading, I wouldn't be surprised if by 2030, open carry is totally illegal. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happens sooner than that, honestly. And that's why we need people stepping up, stepping out, and standing up for our rights just like RPM Trey does. So, yeah, and just something else I want to say about like people in this community. You know, there's like a guy another guy who I built up his platform and promoted him, and then it was years ago he put out a video about, remember when Zach tried to run for president of the United States? And I mean, this is years ago now, but people still like bring up this comment. Yesterday, Ocho from the Ochos texted me. He's like, look, somebody said that you tried to run for president of the United States. It's like, oh my God, man. It's like people start a lie and then it just never goes away. I've never tried to run for president of the United States. And the person who made that video, he knows. See, this is what's wrong with that. Actually, I'm just going to call out who that person's name is. That person's name is Derek. And Derek and I talked off the air. and I said, look, I never ran for president. You're putting out something that the trolls are putting out. And then he went back and he looked and he's like, oh yeah, you're right. It was just a joke comment. It wasn't serious. And I said, okay, so now put out a video saying that I never ran for president of the United States. And then he refused to do that. But then he kept up his video that I ran for president of the United States. So it's like, and again, and now you got like Chigozi who's sticking knives in the back and going, well, you've gone after Derek too many times. Like, dude, I never did anything to Derek until he kept putting all this bullshit information and like agreeing with trolls and slanderers. But it's just so annoying how many lies have been started about me. And then you have people like Derek who knows it's a lie, but then he's not even accountable enough to take down the video or put up another video correcting that he was wrong. And it's just like when I had him call in the other day, or when I called him and he's like, oh yeah, I did hear that through the grapevine. I'm like, yeah, because it never happened. So you're regurgitating more lies and making videos about that. But yeah, again, it's just lately with all the backstabbing and slandering and just all the losers in the community who I gave them a platform, otherwise nobody would have ever heard of them, and then they just use their platform to attack me and clout chase off me. It just reminds me, like, you know, like I do have this idea of wanting to bring together a community, like a sustainable community that is strong and sufficient and doesn't have to live off this bullshit system. But at the same time, I'm just reminded, like, yeah, but Zach, your whole life is like helping out other people and other people doing nothing to help you out, just using and abusing you. And it's like most people are a lost cause and they're totally unreliable. I mean, anyone with a brain should be able to see that I'm reliable. I'm here every day doing the same thing. What's up, 949? 949? Just calling in to be quiet? All right. 949. I heard a chirp. Okay. Just chirping. Yeah, and it's just like... Yeah, to ever have a good community of people that would be sustainable, you would have to do a really good job of making sure you found really good people, because so many people are not reliable. Here, I'm going to give 949 one more chance. 949?
Hey, Zach, it's Reese. How are you?
So, Reese. Reese the instigator? Reese the one that's like cheering on my trolls? That same Reese?
I'm doing what?
What do you have for us, Reese?
Well, I wanted to share with you, you know how Trump said...
Here, before you even get to anything, here, yes or no, you've been in the videos of channels slandering me, like cheering on the comments and like cheerleading the slanderous statements. Yes or no?
No.
All right, adios, Reese. I don't even want to hear anything else from her. Total fraud. Okay. Total fraud. You can't think I'm that dumb. I saw your comment. My God, these people are a joke. Okay. 908. 908. Yeah, just people like her are a total joke. Hey, Zach. Hey, about Trump. It's like, hey, let's address the kind of shit that you're writing online about me. These people are a joke. God. $775.
Hey, what's up, Zach? It's Greg.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, man, I just wanted to touch on your question about, why they always give Jesus Christ so much propers, or they always try to fall into the Jesus Christ narrative. So I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I haven't been practicing for a few years, but one of the first things you learn as a Jehovah's Witness is that Jesus did not want the worship. He didn't want the recognition. He wanted to pass it to his Father. That was his whole point. So any false religion will worship Jesus Christ, and they will glorify him. But Jesus himself said, "I don't want that. You do not know me, you workers of lawlessness. All praises to the Father." Everything that, like when Satan wanted to give Jesus the kingdoms of the world, he just said, bow down and do an act of worship to me, and all this will be yours. And Jesus said, no, all worship is due to the Father, to Jehovah. So any of this redirect of worship to Jesus is done to blaspheme, is done to mock the Father, is done to mock Jehovah God, the creator of the heavens and the earth and all the souls in them. So when they take the worship away from Jehovah, or they give it to the Son, it is deriding Jehovah. Jehovah's a jealous God, and this is ancient knowledge. Just like the Kabbalah and all this stuff, Jehovah is the creator, and He is Jehovah of armies. This is all through the Bible. It's the whole theme of the Bible is the sanctification of Jehovah's name. Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of your so-called Christian believers who listen to your show won't subscribe to that. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses are outcast and they're made fun of so much. But I just wanted to clear that up for you, why the media and all the media outlets fall into the Jesus narrative is because they're doing Satan's work and taking the real true worship away from where it belongs, with the Father.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Greg. I appreciate that perspective. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to Greg. Greg lost his wife a few years ago. Went through a tough time, but he's back. RPM Trey, man. I'm getting you dinner the next time I see you. When I read comments like this, I'm just like, what? School Time writes, Zach, can you backtrack to who is writing these codes? Can we stop some of these deaths from happening? I've been following you for a few years, and I don't think you've touched on that. To me, I'm like, is that just somebody who's just trying to give me gray hairs? I've covered it in this video. I've literally covered it in like every single video for the last 3 years. I've written a book about it. In fact, I've written 2 books about it. I mean, how's that even a real comment? Who's doing it? Are you serious? God. Can somebody in the chat answer for him? So I know that I put the answer out there about 10 gazillion times, because I feel like everybody who's been here for a few years would not have to ask that question. All right, I do have other things I have to get done today, and I do have TFR tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. So, hold on. We did get a call from Switzerland first. Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland hung up. Well, Philadelphia.
Hello. I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
So you have spoken a bunch of times about a woman that basically predicted like a cyber attack on our financial system, if I'm remembering correctly.
Janet Napolitano on the day she resigned from Department of Homeland Security, former governor of Arizona.
Thank you so much.
Here, for all the people who want to know more about that, my old website is freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. And the very first post I put on there is about Janet Napolitano. So the way you'd find it quickly is just go back to, if you can search by year, it's the first post in 2013, October of 2013. And it says on August 27, 2013, Janet Napolitano, Secretary of Homeland Security, resigned. In her outgoing speech, she warned of an upcoming serious cyber attack that could take down our power grid, one that could impact all functions of our daily lives across the entire country. So yeah, if you want to go back and listen to her speech, August 27, 2013.
All right, I'll do that. Do you know her birthday offhand?
Well, here, I'll just look it up real quick. Janet Napolitano. Let's see, born in 57, November 29th, 57. So, the day leaving 32 days left in the year that day. The old America number.
Okay, yeah, because I've just kind of been following, like I listened to you, and then I also kind of follow astrology, and I'm like wondering if we're going to have a major financial crisis this year. So
that's what I'm going to talk about for TFR tonight. That's going to be the theme of TFR. Is it time for us to get ready for a major financial crisis?
Yeah, I think so. And like the lifeguard guy, I got invited to see the movie Plane. It's coming out on like the 13th, and they gave up like flashlights. And I was like, something is.
What's the movie called?
It's called Plane. It's with Gerard Butler. I got invited to his dance screening. My son's boxing gym. Like they always get kind of things, and I went to it, and it's like a flight out of Korea, I think, and the plane goes down somewhere in the Philippines, and it's just basically about them landing in like a lawless place. There's no government, no police, and whatever. But the power went out on the plane. It got struck by lightning. And I was like, it was very synchronistic to me, because a lot of that stuff happens. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that's where I saw that a few months ago. So it's just kind of like, that's why I wanted to know about the financial crisis. And I was reading about all the planes that were grounded this morning, the day after I go see that movie. And they're like, well, it wasn't a cyber attack. So I'm like, just something, they're planning something. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about who that woman was. So thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you. Thank you. Good heads up.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
So the movie comes out on Friday the 13th. Superstition, lightning striking a plane. Shark, thanks for the super chat, Shark. And Shark also had an observation. Shark, can you write in the comments again I read your message earlier about the message with Q, and I got too many things I got to keep straight in my head, but Shark had a really good comedy left about Q and a film and Trump. Diamond, like the film was called Diamonds or something. I got to go back and find his comment. 407.
Yeah, Zach. About Plane and 113, isn't Biden taking a trip to Japan on the 13th? Supposed to meet with his White House, I think Japan. His name is Kishida.
Oh, he cut out.
Like it's supposed to be.
All right, hold on, you're cutting out a little bit. Are you saying that Biden's going to Japan on January 13th?
Yeah, he's supposed to be meeting with someone named Kishida on the 13th, so I don't know when that flight is supposed to be.
I'll look into that. I wasn't aware of that, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then another thing that's not really on topic, but kind of interesting. Did you see the special ESPN had on the 12th for LeBron James' son and Carmelo Anthony's son? They supposedly played on the 12th, which is 20 years to the date when LeBron and Carmelo played in that school in 2003.
Funny. Yeah, couldn't have
So
scripted it any better.
20 years later.
Yeah, what are the odds? Rituals.
Yeah, but that's all I had. Great work as always.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Switzerland, you're on.
Hey there, Doug. You are my hero. How is going on? Is everything good?
Yeah, here, let me boost the volume because your call's a little bit quiet.
Okay, thank you. Have you researched the Librian triangle? It's 222. Maybe you can also research it by your own. I just wanted to make another question. It's not about football, it's about XRP. Is it a good coin to hold, by your opinion, or not?
Will Bitcoin's value hold?
No, XRP.
I got to think that at some point XRP is going to climb because there's so many important entities behind XRP.
Okay. XRP number one cryptocurrency, right? 333, 144. Yes. Yes, Zach, thank you. By the way, thank you for your work. You are a truly one. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. Bye.
All right, you're welcome, and thanks for your calls and past observations in today's call. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, he already hung up. Okay, I do need to get off, though, you guys. Like I keep saying, I do have things to do, and I got a 3-hour show later. So if you didn't get your call in right now, the good news is 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, TFR starts, 3-hour program, and it'll be mostly calls tonight. And I think I think let's have a good conversation tonight about what is being foreshadowed with potentially a dollar bill collapse, because that's what it seems like to me. The bill collapsing in the first quarter. The only question I have is it this year or is it next year in March? I'd like to think it's at least another year away. And the reason I say it still could be a year away is because, again, they had that meeting in the Middle East. We covered it then. It was like back in June of last year. And the woman from America who spoke at the conference said that in the next 2 years, America will make a full transition to a digital dollar, and it will open up the door for significant abuse of the American people, because essentially the government will be able to keep track of every last thing. All right, some people don't want me to get off. All right, fine, I'll take one more call just because you're calling in, but then I'm not answering any more calls, I promise. 215, close us out.
Hey, Zach, what's going on, bro? I just real quick, like 20 seconds. I just want you to just check out what's going on with the Euphrates River and Jasper National Park. It was like kind of like biblical things going on, so just check that out when you get a second.
Euphrates River and Jasper National Park?
Yeah, it's like, because I looked up the Gematria, it had 201. And the Euphrates River, they just basically talking about how the fallen angels are supposedly chained there, and how the water is basically drying out there. And I know it has some references that in the Bible and all that, so just leave you to say, just check that out.
Okay, I will do that. I appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right, take care. Okay, I got to turn off the phone because I know people will keep calling in. But yeah, again, I got things I got to do before TFR, so we already went over time. All right, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who chipped in on the Super Chats. And again, I still have not made a decision on the Kobe anniversary. But between LA's wacky weather right now, Sweet Lady's mom kind of on her deathbed, and travel uncertainties, because like I'm thinking about just like flying in for a day. Imagine because this happened to me once before. Flight got delayed 8 hours. It'd like mess up the whole day. If I wait till Kobe Bryant Day, I can drive down there, which I'd also rather do. And if I drive down there, that also means I can make a little pit stop in the Bay Area and visit Silicon Valley. So, again, I'll keep thinking about it. If I don't do Kobe Bryant Day January 26th, it'll be, or the anniversary again, Kobe Bryant Day in August in LA. And maybe instead of going to the Kobe Bryant anniversary, either back to Buffalo if they do put that team in the Super Bowl, or Fake Mike wants us to go out to D.C. for his birthday on April 7th. What a fitting day to be in D.C. So we got options, but also I think what really happened this past year is not less people tried to, or less people supported me. I think because again, just a million people. It seems like I get 5 emails a day about people like, I can't sign up for your Patreon. It's declining all my stuff. I tried multiple cards. It won't work. And it's just like the other day. Yeah, right. The Matrix was trying to sign up, and then he couldn't sign up for mine, but then he did somebody else's Patreon, and it signed up no problem. So I think that's the real reason it went down this year. I think they figured out how to tamper with it more, give more people trouble signing up, so it's gone down. And I think that's the consequence of going out and speaking out. I think they're unhappy about that, but that makes me feel better about going out and speaking out and the support going down if it's tampering rather than people falling off the wagon. However, some people have fallen off the wagon. So anyhow, I'll keep you guys all posted, but yeah, it's just there's a few things in the balance, and really the biggest one's Sweet Lady's mom. Again, I mean, I'd feel bad if I was in LA and then she got the news about her mom. And anyway, we'll leave it there for now, you guys. Have a good rest of your day, and join us on TFR if you got the time. It's about 4 hours from now. Till next time.